You will be in tears when society collapses. Things are not looking very good in the markets right now. The reality is beginning to set in that things are not going to improve and they're only going to continue getting worse. It's going to be hell out there. You have to wake up and realize that everything that we are being told is a total and utter lie right now. They're telling us, oh, the jobs reports are good, when in reality, they are far from anything but good. The reality is the job market is in crisis. If we look at this article, job market is in a crisis as wages plummet across America. In a shocking revelation by finance expert John Williams, the average American family is earning $500 less per month than they did in 2019 when adjusted for inflation, guys, $500 less. This dramatic reduction in income highlights the stagnation of wages over the last 50 years. Williams points out that workers today are earning just 12 cents more than they did in 1972, despite the fact that prices for essential goods have skyrocketed. So the average family today is actually making $6,000 less than they were in 2019 when adjusted for inflation. $6,000 less. That's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So wages have actually crashed. Yet the government is saying, oh, look at all the job growth. We've lost 600,000 full-time jobs, and they're celebrating the addition of 270,000 part-time jobs and saying the economy is one of the best in history. We are in a deep economic crisis right now. Inflation erodes buying power. The increase in prices for housing, cars, and food has significantly outpaced wage growth. Home prices, car prices, and food prices have essentially doubled, making it harder for families to maintain their standard of living. This situation is exacerbated by an 8.9% delinquency rate on credit card bills across the U.S., with nearly 30% of residents in the top 100 metros being behind on their payments. So it's a living hell right now that we are witnessing. And what's making matters worse is a lot of you don't think that the US dollar can collapse. Guys, there's a new currency. There's a new BRIC currencies that are coming that will be backed by gold, precious metal, a variety of other things. All right. And it's very, very serious. Many of you think this is not possible, but here's the thing. Because of the companies that are involved and that are now pushing for the BRIC standard, they make up over 40% of the financial markets worldwide. So if they switch over to their BRIC standard and say, okay, well, we want to be paid for our goods and services in this currency, it basically forces the rest of the world to have to pay, trade value to get this currency so they can make purchases. And one of the things that the US government has been doing is they've been actually freezing currency for, I won't go into details on it, but they've actually been doing things like freezing currency because they control the US dollar. They control SWIFT, which is basically how we transfer money around the world. So they can freeze money very, very easily because most money right now exists digitally in the world. It's a very serious thing. By the way, guys, if you guys enjoy these videos, make sure to hit the like button. And if you are new to the Angry Guy channel, make sure you subscribe down below. And of course, members for the channel do get new videos early. If you'd like to learn more about that, click the join button down below this video. I'm telling you guys, it is a nightmare. We're going to jump into this video because I want you guys to see what's actually happening here. It's insanity. The video comes from Breakthrough News. I have them linked in the description.
Just announced a new global currency designed to replace the dollar. The deputy chairman of Russia's State Duma, Alexander Babakov, told reporters that the BRICS alliance, which stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is creating a new currency that will be backed by gold, rare earth metals, and other critical commodities. BRICS will likely take up the task of creating this new currency at the next BRICS summit in late August. While there's still a lot of things we don't know about the currency, the announcement alone is a huge development. Since 1945, the US dollar has been the world reserve currency, meaning it acts as the standard currency for all international payments. This means that if Japan wants to trade with Thailand, they wouldn't pay each other using yen or baht, they would use the US dollar. The dollar's monopoly is especially strong in the oil trade, which until recently was exclusively conducted in dollars. What this means is that every country in the world needs a constant supply of dollars on hand to buy oil and other critical goods, and to acquire those dollars, they have to manufacture real goods and sell them to the US or some other country that acquired dollars from the US. The United States, on the other hand, can print dollars, meaning they can essentially go into debt for free. Economist Barry Eichengreen describes it as the following. It costs only a few cents for the Bureau of Engraving and Printing to produce a $100 bill, but other countries have to pony up $100 of actual goods and services in order to obtain one. The other thing is that since the world financial system was set up by the US and relies so heavily on the dollar, the US also has the power to exclude countries from the international financial system. The US controls SWIFT, the international payment system which basically functions as the blood vessels of the world financial system. The US has weaponized SWIFT by banning countries it doesn't like from it, like Cuba, Iran, and North Korea. The US also takes advantage of the fact that many countries store their foreign reserves in US banks and dollar-denominated assets. So how would a new BRICS currency change this? Well, the US has the power to print money and unilaterally exclude and punish countries because the world relies on the dollar. But if enough countries make the collective decision to abandon the dollar and rally around new currencies that the US doesn't control, the US wouldn't have the power to manipulate the world financial system like it does now. Skeptics often say that no currency will replace the dollar because not enough countries will adopt it. But the 5 BRICS countries alone represent a whopping 40% of the world's population. If you add the countries that are applying for BRICS membership, it becomes a little under half. If all these countries started demanding BRICS currency in trade instead of the dollar, the rest of the world would likely have to lessen their foreign reserve holdings of US dollars and increase their holdings of the new BRICS currency. Other countries will also probably find the BRICS currency more appealing because it's not controlled by a single country, unlike the dollar. For centuries, the imperialist countries used their military and financial supremacy to siphon off resources and labor out of the rest of the world. Now those countries are banding together and starting their own currency, backed by that same wealth of resources, which will dramatically reduce the value and relevance of Western fiat currencies. While some are going to continue to insist that de-dollarization will never happen, many would argue that it's the current hegemonic position of the dollar that won't last, and that a new financial system that reflects the new multipolar world was always bound to emerge. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. We've been
it's so crazy, guys. I've warned you that nothing lasts forever. China just dumped something like $53 billion in U.S. bonds, okay? I mean, this is in U.S. debt. This is a massive amount of money this is a massive figure. Absolutely massive figure, okay? China literally just sold it off. If you look at the article, China's historic dump of 53 billion U.S. treasuries is unprecedented blow to the U.S. economy. All right, and they're trying, guys. This is insane. Tensions between China and the United States have been escalating for years, fueled by economic competition, geopolitical disputes, and a series of diplomatic confrontations. Recently, China has taken a significant step that further complicates this fraught relationship by cutting ties with a record number of U.S. treasuries and agency debt bonds worth $53.3 billion. That was in just one move. This historic move, the largest sell-off initiated by China, coincides with a broader trend of the BRICS countries offloading U.S. treasuries since 2022. Why did China take the drastic step, and what does it mean for the United States and the global economy? Guys, this is a very serious sign. It's a very serious warning that China is moving away from the United States dollar. All of these BRIC countries are moving away from the US dollar, saying they just won't accept them anymore. Okay, they're gradually walking away. And this will happen very, very rapidly. The US cannot pay its bills. The US is an empire. But if no one wants to accept our money, if America loses its status as the reserve currency of the world, it's over. And you have to understand that these other currencies are being backed by gold, silver, and precious metals. Look at the inflation in the United States right now. What do you think is going to happen? Americans are pissed off in Western society. They're watching the value of their money decline. So what are they naturally going to do? BRICS comes in, and now their money even is now Venezuela money. They're all going, guys, everyone's going to convert their money. Everyone's going to convert their money to BRICS. People are going to basically say, no, if you want to pay me, you're going to have to pay me in BRICS. I'm not accepting garbage US dollars. If you want to pay me, you're going to have to pay me in a BRICS currency or something else. But I'm not accepting US dollar. And any money that, if I'm forced to take US money, I'm immediately converting it to BRICS. And it's going to cost crazy problems. The United States is only going to be a place where people work and then leave. That's the entirety of the system. And no one even wants to work here anymore because the work-life balance is so terrible. It is absolutely terrible. They've exploited everyone for so long, and it's created a scenario where people like Gen Z can basically, they can hide in the chaos and try to act like they're victims. They're not, because these are lazy people. They don't want to contribute anything to society. I also made this prediction, and I'm beginning to see it. The millennials are beginning to fall apart. The millennials can't keep on going much longer, because these are people who started working at a very young age. Versus the baby boomers, many of them never went to college, or they didn't have to, they didn't have to put up with this extreme amounts of stress. For example, if they did go to graduate school and did get these advanced degrees, they were rewarded for that. That did not happen for the millennials. A big part of that was that you ended up with a lot of people with college degrees, but a market that became oversaturated rapidly with degrees. So now you have people who are getting paid the same amount or even less than their parents got paid for doing the same jobs, but now they need advanced education just to get these jobs. Now fast forward, 20 years later, a lot of employers are now hiring people that have no degrees, and saying that people who have degrees, a degree is an obstacle to getting a job, because Gen Z is so terrible that there is now a stigma around college graduates. If you're a millennial, you can potentially get a job with a degree still, because your degree is still viewed as being more valuable than a Gen Zer's degree, because we all know that these people graduated from high school and college without the same type of rigor and standards that other generations did, thereby making their education less valuable. And then on top of it, their generation as it is just horrible to work with. So China's motivation behind the sell-off, China's decision to sell off U.S. treasuries is multifaceted, involving economic, strategic, and political considerations. One of the primary motivations is the desire to reduce reliance on U.S. assets and China's foreign reserves. This aligns with a broader trend among BRICS countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Guys, this is massive. South Africa is a large part of Africa. All right, it is the most developed part of Africa. That's a huge part of the continent. All right. China, over 1 billion people. It's one of the largest economies in the world. India, one of the largest economies in the world. Okay. Russia, still one of the largest, most powerful empires in the world. Okay. And then Brazil. I mean, it's Brazil. The point is that the countries that make up this alliance are huge. All right, most of our stuff, our junk, comes from China, and we've seen a shift. Like, okay, well, we're not going to make it in China. We'll manufacture it in India. Guess what? They're part of the alliance as well. And if this gives them such significant control, as everyone's dumping U.S. bonds, guys. The government in Western society, they have to keep on raising inflation because they can't pay their bills, so they have to lower the value of their debt. By continuing to raise inflation, it lowers the value of the debt. It means that more money will then be printed, because people have to have more money to spend more money. So then the government gains more taxes. So now, but for them to actually pull this off, inflation has to rise way more than it is at right now. Like, how much more? Like, we're talking about easily 20, 30, 40%. Like we're like massive. We have to see considerably more inflation. And what they're doing is they're just kind of taking it easy and easing us into more and higher levels of inflation. So as the value of our money continues to decline rapidly, we're just going to have to make up for it, live with it, and the U.S. will then say, okay, good, now we can breathe a little bit. So our money, the value of our money declines rapidly, the value of the debt declines, and the U.S. wins. So the U.S. wins, the banks win, the people lose. And you really think that Americans are going to keep on holding to this garbage, onto garbage currency? No. Mm-mm. Unless they're absolutely forced to. There was a comment on one of my videos. I found this comment to be pretty interesting. We're going to look at it together. And this comment actually was on one of my videos, Men Are Buying Crypto and Avoiding Women. He said it was from Guy Tech, and he basically said something. He has an interesting view on things. He said, I suspect when the economy crashes again, like it did in 2008, BTC is going to crash along with it. The reason why BTC remains high is everyone just holds it and never sells. When people need to sell BTC for cash to pay bills, it's likely to take a steep dive. Recall from 2007, the TV talking heads. Stocks only go up, real estate only goes up. I also suspect that most countries will enact capital controls banning BTC and all other cryptos. China has already banned cryptos because people were using it to bypass capital controls. Banning cryptos would be pretty easy since all transactions are over the internet, which can be blocked, tracked, etc. So while he's right to some degree, it's a bit more difficult to completely control crypto. This is something that would have to be done on the level of the ISP provider. So there would be level. So okay, so if you want to block wallets, that's a bit more difficult because you can download Bitcoin, you can download the software. So you would have to go after internet hosting companies that host wallets where you can go and access your wallet through you can access your wallet that way. You'd have to block explorers that allow people to track their transactions over the crypto networks. They would literally have to go after internet service providers. They'd have to go over internet hosting companies. It would be a number of things. They would have to pass laws to literally shut all of this down. Okay. And then they would also have to make it a crime for people to directly trade cryptos with crypto with one another, because you can do it locally. You can actually trade Bitcoins. There's local Bitcoin websites where people can meet up in person and trade Bitcoin in person. That's something that happens all around us, and it's done usually for it's done usually at a loss. So for example, let's say I want $1,000 worth of Bitcoins, or I want to sell $1,000 worth of Bitcoins. It varies, and get cash. Someone might say, well, I'll give you 75 cents on the dollar. So if you give me $1,000 worth of Bitcoins, I'll give you $750. So I make a $250 profit. And a lot of people, when they don't have a choice and they need cash, they'll do that. Or if it's a case where they need Bitcoin, they'll do that. But that's kind of how that works. So they're gonna have to shut all of that down. And guys, when things went to hell in Venezuela, when their currency collapsed in Venezuela, they were all using. I know because I had a very good acquaintance over there, and they were using Bitcoin to survive. And now they use. Now everything is done in U.S. dollars over there. So if the U.S. dollar starts to collapse, and they try to stop people from using Bitcoin, we're just going to see an economic crisis in the magnitude of Venezuela, and it could even get worse than that, because if you're blocking people from using any form of alternative currency, right? You'll be amazed how quickly companies will say, we don't want to accept your money anymore. Like, this is another big thing that a lot of you are not taking into consideration. The companies themselves, if they see the US dollar, if companies see the US dollar beginning to collapse and they realize that this is junk money now and the jig is up, they're going to quickly switch over to BRIC currencies as well. American companies will switch in a heartbeat to BRIC currencies. It's the truth. So it would make matters even worse. Like, okay, well, if you want to do business with us, if America wants our products, even from American companies, they're gonna have to pay us in brick, or pay us in because this is junk currency. America is not the only country in the world, and guys, for many of you, you're like, oh no, it'll never happen, it'll never happen. You're the same ones. The people that are saying that this stuff will never happen are the same people that'll be crying their eyes out, and then stealing from Target and going absolutely ballistic, saying that this is not how it was supposed to be, and America screwed them over, and crying up a storm. And I'm like, bro, you were told that these things were going to happen. You refuse to accept reality, and then you become bitter now and want to destroy everything because you didn't want to listen. Like, how old are you? You're like acting like a baby. You knew this was going to happen, but you lived in your own delusional reality. You're such a piece of crap. Like this is how I feel. Like, if you, as an adult, you knew this was going to happen. You saw the warning signs. You saw everyone. Other adults were telling you what was happening. You said that it will never happen. You refuse to listen. And then when it happens, you basically throw an absolute tantrum and want to destroy everything around you and want to steal from everyone because you're not getting your way, and everyone betrayed you, and the US betrayed you, and you become a complete drunken lunatic. Like, it's like those military veterans. No one forced them to serve. We walk around saying thank you for your service like these people are special. Bro, you had nothing else going on for you in life. Like, I'm just gonna go there. You had nothing going on for you in life. That's why you joined the Marines. That's the reason why you went over there. And went over and did multiple tours. Not because you love America. It's because you had nothing else to do and you needed the money. So you went over there. You did all of this crap. Then you come back to the States, and again, no one forced you to serve, and you become a total drunk, end up homeless, and start and living in the streets, and you want everyone to feel sorry for you because, hey, you served your country, bro. Like, no one asked you to go. No one asked you to go, okay? All right? Don't blame me. Blame your recruiter. Blame your recruiter who told you sweet, sweet lies, and you were dumb enough to fall for it. All right? And it's like any of you that fall for the garbage, like today, by the way, you've had Uncle Angry telling you for at least a couple of years now, no matter what the recruiter says, don't get on the bus. But you were dumb enough to get on the bus. Oh, he threatened me. Did he force you to get on the bus? Yes, he forced you. Did he carry you onto the bus? He said I could go to jail. I told you not. Then they could put your hands behind your back. Let them put their hands behind your back and let them confirm that you are under arrest and that you are being taken to jail for processing. And okay, but he didn't, unless he forcibly picked you up and put you onto that bus. Or listen to me, if he didn't put you onto that bus, they're going to say that you willingly got onto that bus. They could tell you any lie that they want to. Oh, we'll investigate that. He lied to me. He told me that I was going to go to jail we'll investigate that. But anyway, you need to start your basic training right now. All right. You need to do what you're told. Pick up. All right. Put those boots on. Put those boots on. You're gonna be here a while. All right. Before we ship you out. Ship me out. What do you mean ship me out? Listen, don't worry about that. Okay. We own you now. You belong to us now. Okay. Do what you're told, or else. There's a couple guys who came here earlier. They didn't make it. What do you mean came here earlier? I mean, they came here this morning, and they left through the back door. They're no longer with us, but we thank them for their service. Wait. How long were they here? They just got here this morning, and now they got here earlier today, and now they're already gone. You don't want to end up like that, man. Just do what you're told. Just do what you're told. Put those boots on. Put those boots on and start marching. Okay, start marching. I mean, it could be worse. You could be the Marines. They like to run you. All right, we're gonna march you, and then we're gonna run you. All right, but we're gonna march you first. So it's not that bad. All right. It's not that bad. Guys, this is the future. This is the future that people are headed for. All right. You will be in tears when society collapses. Don't forget that I also have another channel called Men Walking Away. If you're enjoying the content on this channel, you want even more of this content, check out the Men Walking Away channel where I release daily videos. There's a link to it in the description of the video. Go check it out. Subscribe to the channel. Enjoy the content. Guys, what do you think regarding all of this? Do you agree you will be in tears when society collapses? Let me know your thoughts, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, Men Walking Away, and cheers.